Good morning, my dear students. Today, we would like to discuss identity theft and concept of spam. I think all of you may familiar spam, email spam. First one, that is identity theft. It's a crime. Identity theft is a crime. It refers to all types of crime in which someone wrongfully obtain and use another person's personal data in some way that involves fraud or deception, typically for economic gain. From this, it is very clear what is meant by identity theft. Suppose we are using an unauthorized use of personal data for some economic purposes or economic gain. It is a crime. It is called identity theft. For example, in a college, 1,500 students are there, and almost personal data related to these students are kept in our data reservoir. Someone may use these data from our database without the consent of the proper authority, and they are using this data for some other advertisement purpose or some matrimonial purpose or some other economic benefit. It's called identity theft. Personal data such as bank account, credit card number, or such other valuable personal information can be used by dishonest people if they fall into their hands. This is called identity theft. Then, how can this identity, how can be done this identity theft? This identity theft can be done by stealing, dumpster diving, phishing, social engineering. Then social engineering, shoulder surfing, hacking. These are all the ways we can have this identity theft. First one, stealing. Stealing can be done by using digital wallets or digital purses, computers, mobile devices, checks, or credit offers statement sent in email. Suppose we are using some digital purses or digital wallets for our transactions. So this may be used by some person and as an unauthorized use. They can use these informations for their economic benefit. It may be identity theft. The next, dumpster diving. Then that is to find discarded paper files or CDs or floppy disk, etc. The next, phishing. Phishing means fraudulent mails. Then social engineering, that means gaining confidence in person on the phone or online or postal mail or through email to extract personal information. Some situations may be there, like one person may contact with another person, getting some confidence and asking some personal information, and they may use these informations for their economic benefit. Then next, shoulder surfing, that means viewing or log on activities in public spaces. Okay. Then next, I will give an example for that. Suppose we are using our email account from some internet cafe. Unknowingly, we are left from this internet cafe without logout. So they may use these accounts. This is called shoulder surfing. The next, hacking. Hacking, password guessing, tricking you to download malware, spyware, or other software to access information on our computer. In order to prevent this identity theft, it is always desirable to regularly check credit reports, follow up with creditors, destroy unsolicited credit applications, and protect ourselves by not giving out any personal information in response to unsolicited email. Don't share your personal photos or personal confidential information to someone through email or through WhatsApp or any other social media without taking proper precautions. Okay, that's all about identity theft. The next one, that is spam. Spam. in email we are searching some mails, it may be dumped or fall into spam mail. Spam refers to irrelevant or unsolicited message sent over the internet, typically to a large number of users for the purpose of advertising, phishing, spreading malware, etc. Spam include unwanted electronic communications, generally commercial in nature and likely to be a source of malware. Okay, that's called spam. There are different methods to avoid or to protect these spam messages. The amount of spam has increased over the past few years. While we are searching our email, we can see the impact of these spam messages. This is mainly because some messages being sent many times rather than sending more different messages. This increases the pressure to develop technical measures to prevent spam from flooding mailboxes. Okay, so in order to avoid, we can avoid this disturbance of spam by using these measures, methods of avoid spam. How to avoid these spam messages? First one, blacklist, legal approaches, filtering systems, separate mail account, cautions when filing out online forms, install a firewall, then do not respond to email that ask to verify account information, safeguard logging information. So these are all the way in which we can avoid maximum spam messages. First one, blacklist. Blacklist means avoid accepting emails from system that are being actively exploited by spammers. That is blacklist. The internet is composed of cooperating but independent network. So there is a right of for anyone not to accept emails. Okay, that is called a blacklist. The next, legal approaches. It's very simple. That means gaining important at government levels, including proposed penalties for unsolicited commercial emails and anonymous commercial messages. Okay, the next one, that is filtering system. Filtering system means it is a techniques to dealing with spam, and it is widely used both in ISP system, internet service provider system, and by end user themselves. Most email programs and internet service providers offer spam filter at a little or at no cost. This will help us to manage the spam we do receive by moving it to separate folder and making it as illegitimate emails. Okay, this is a process of filtering. So we can segregate or separate, we can prepare separate folders for this kind of messages. The next important one, that is separate email account. It is suggested to create an email address specifically for public use and another for our personal purpose. Then we can avoid this kind of spam messages to certain extent. Okay, I have used this system to avoid these spam messages. I have two email ID. One is for academic purpose and another one is for general purposes. The next one, caution when filing out online forms. That means caution should be or precaution should be exercised when filing out online forms. It is always better to use our public email address and view the privacy policy on the website before proceedings. The privacy policy tells us how the company plans to use these informations we are submitting. So I think it is better to use general email ID for these general purposes. Then we can avoid these kind of spam messages or hindrances related to the spam messages. The next, that is install firewall. There is another technique which helps, which is beneficial to avoid this spam. This will help prevent spammers from hacking or planting worms on our computer. The next important technique, that is do not respond to email that ask to verify account information. Many messages have been received by many people by asking some verifications regarding bank accounts or credit card reports or some personal details. So I think it is better to avoid and neglect this kind of messages. The next one, that is safeguard login information. this techniques is to avoid spam is to safeguard all our login information. Never share our username and password with anyone else. That is a very important techniques. Don't share our username and password with anyone else. So these are all the important techniques by which we can avoid these spam messages. Okay, by these words, let us conclude today's discussion. Thank you to one and all.